What's up guys, hello and welcome to volume 17 of the Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever Community Cast Library. I hope you've all had an excellent week. I've had a really busy week, but it's been really good, thank you. So, I've been coming to grips with the sound packaging over the last few weeks, and I think that's pretty okay now. It's about as good as I can get on the shoestring budget that I have at the moment. I've spent this week doing self-training on some editing as in pictures and what am I trying to say, graphics. I've been doing graphic-y kind of stuff, so thumbnails and things like that, but I'm slowly getting to the stage now where I'm learning stuff which is going to free up time in the future to do more content. So pretty soon we'll be playing some other games. I think at the moment I am at the moment recording a Let's Play series for Europa Universalis 4, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. And then lastly, before we go into this week's match, I am in dire need of replays, guys. I am all out of replays, so please start sending me your awesome replays. Alright guys, to today's match. It's a bit of a unique one. Hope you enjoy it. Catch you in a bit. What's up everybody, hello and welcome along to some 4 vs 4 action on the 10x10 map Canis 5 vs 5 special edition. So as you may have heard there, this is a little bit of a unique one. The air slots have been vacated, so we're doing a 4 vs 4 on a 5 vs 5 map. It'll be pretty interesting to see how the teams take responsibility for air, given it's the air slot that's been vacated. So we're going to call this team at the top Team 1, this team at the bottom Team 2. Starting with the players for Team 1, going yellow and UEF, weighing in at a colossal 1800. It is Freedom. Second up for Team 1 in an electric type of pink, I guess. Suit you, sir. Going Master Cybran race, weighing in 1100. It's ScarlettPrincess. And then thirdly for Team 1 in his usual combination of Cyan and Cybran, weighing in at 1700. He's still very overrated. It's Death Squad. And then lastly for Team 1, going white and Space Pirate Aliens, it's HotFog, who weighs in at 1000. And for Team 2, first up, going orange and super sexy Cybran, weighing in at 1600, it's Cabal. Second up for Team 2, in a much more feminine shade of pink, it definitely suits you, sir, another Space Pirate Alien, it's Google, who's weighing in at 1600 for this replay. And thirdly for Team 2, going red and UEF, coming in at 1100, it is KoffNoob, who's already disappeared somewhere. There he is. And then lastly for Team 2, in his usual colour of shitty teal, it's nidO-F, aka Foden, who's gone first land. Quite a few people going with adjacency on their first land factory. This one is the sexy double adjacency. Death Squad's got an ugly double adjacency going on. He's done it on the inside, blocking part of his hydro. I don't like that. One of the many reasons why Death Squad is massively overrated. Anyway, early happenings going on here. We've got all sorts of engineers popping out and getting their bases up and going. We've got KoffNoob, who's very far forward here early on, and he's come out sort of a weird way really, considering that he's not built up any of these mexes. I'm not sure what KoffNoob is planning there. Cabal is also out of the blocks pretty sharpish. And if we look at Cabal's mirror, which is Scarlett's still kind of laying down the foundations of a forward position from his core area. Cabal going all the way up with his commander to this very forward max point. And we've got a T1 bomber with a scout coming out from Death Squad. And we're going to keep an eye on this bomber as it starts to create havoc, and there's its first victim, which was minding its own business, building a factory. And Death Squad quickly swinging that one around and picking up its second kill. And still no interceptors or AA out for Team 2 to deal with this, and the bomber picking up its third kill here. It's doing well, this little thing. And 4th kill. And we've got a clump of 3 engineers out over here. I don't know if it's going to see it. In comes the bomb. And all 3 go down. 7 kills for the little T1 bomber as it ends its life. A very productive and lengthy life for a T1 bomber. A hero T1 bomber of the Cybran nation, courtesy of Dev Squad, who's now in his forward position, simultaneously building 2 land factories, both with adjacency to a T1 max point. For Team 2, Google filling out the bottom left hand corner, although he's a bit of an unorthodox position with his ACU building a T1 land factory, I feel. I've played this position myself, and I always kind of end up here making a fire base, maybe. I don't know. Google's better than me, so it's not really saying a lot though, is it, let's be honest. Over on the right hand side, and nidO-F is building a couple of T1 land factories to get some spamming position up to push forward and take a forward base up here. And then for Team 1, see, HotFog knows what he's doing. See? This is the kind of thing that I'm usually doing. So HotFog in a more conventional area with this ACU getting his forward position up, and now we've got some comms coming together at the front line as we see KoffNoob just refreshing himself on some tasty rocks and foliage as Death Squad struts forward, and Death Squad has a reclaim order and a build order for this max point queued up, and KoffNoob now is coming forward with his ACU, and the 2 comms begin to exchange some civilized right arm action. And KoffNoob with the superior hit points just shooing Death Squad back there into his own territory. Over on the left hand side for Team 1, ScarlettPrincess is in the early stages of a gun speed range upgrade. Let's just take a check, and that is going to be the first upgrade of the match thus far, and Death Squad also going into gun speed range. So it's 2 Cybrans on the front lines for Team 1, both going gun very, very early on here. It's not very early on, but yeah. And on the left hand side, Google still hasn't filled out this area. He's got an available Hydro, an available Max, and he's just using his ACU just to get factories up. So Google, I wonder what his eco is like, because I can see the logic in what Google's doing, because that is just going to be a lot of sick spam, and Google actually managing reasonably well right now on eco, so probably due to all the reclaim available to him. And there's now an air engagement going on between Death Squad, Foden and Cabal. There's a 2 versus 1 situation there in the favour of Team 2, and unsurprisingly they come out on top. ScarlettPrincess completing his gun upgrade and going into his stealth upgrade, which was hastily cancelled as Google was just trying to feel a gap out there and penetrate the front lines of Team 1, but Google there running directly into the ACU of Scarlett and quickly turning his units around upon seeing that. Death Squad still in his gun speed upgrade. We got other upgrades going on now, so Freedom has started T2, as has Google, so they're both mirroring each other on the left hand side of the map, and we just see that the 2 aforementioned players in their T2 upgrades. Freedom is a good 20% ahead of his mirror, and over on the right hand side, HotFog also going into a gun speed upgrade. So gun speed is seemingly the thing right now, and Death Squad, having completed his, is going into a stealth upgrade. I wonder if Scarlett ever restarted his stealth. I don't think he has just yet. And Koff is, I'm pretty sure, the only player left not to have done any kind of an upgrade yet, and we just see Scarlett there deciding to get his stealth done with some assistance. So this is going to be interesting now as Team 1 with their 2 Cybran front players, well, 2 or 3, well, you know what I mean. 2 front players for Team 1 here, Cybran, and both going gun and stealth, and this is going to be very irritating for Team 2 to deal with if those ACUs start to push forward, and we just see Scarlet now seeping forward with his T1 entourage of Mantis, taking out a couple of reclaiming mexes of Cabal, and his ACU is starting just to follow up the rear. Google on the left hand side looked like he was lining up a push on the far left flank, but now perhaps seeing the push of Scarlet is bringing his units more central, perhaps to support Cabal. Cabal is actually pulling back a little bit with his units and his ACU, and Scarlet has stopped moving forward here as he just gets some engineers in for the reclaim field. And Death Squad, also with gun and stealth upgrade, is starting to nudge forward with his ACU, but he needs to get some units going here, and that's exactly why Death Squad doesn't have more. Death Squad going into a reasonably quick T2 transition and already sprinkling in some Wagners into the mix of all things. Interesting. So Death Squad now pushing, and he's running into a T2 point defense thrown up by KoffNoob. That was not built by his con, that was built by this T2 engineer, which is soon to join the scrap heap surely, as Death Squad pushes forward now, and KoffNoob in full retreat with his ACU. He's pulling back his units as well to protect these free max points, which traditionally go to the air player, but obviously no air player in this replay. It is a vacated spot, and Death Squad there was just reclaiming a partially built structure and now reclaiming the wreck of a triad turret. Some very welcome reclaim going into the back pocket of Death Squad, and KoffNoob pulling back his ACU. He's going to hide in a puddle is basically the tactic, and upon reaching the bottom of the puddle goes into a T2 upgrade. And Death Squad now pushing forward with those units. He's got some meaty Wagners in that mix, and although Koff does have a couple of pillars, his T2 is outnumbered, and Death Squad just pouring in and grinding those units into non-existence. And surely these 3 max points here are going to be taken out, one of 2 of which are at T2. But no, Death Squad pulling his units back there, leaving both of the T2 ones alive, only taking that T1 out at the top there. And Death Squad moving in with his ACU now. He's got some point defense to deal with. There's a nice OC going out on some triad turrets and pillars, and he's just going to sit there and go toe to toe with it all. And he's pulling back his units just to protect them for a little bit longer. And we do see Foden now starting to mass some pillars up the middle here to try and protect these mexes, but he's not going to have enough time to do that, as finally Death realizing that he's got that opportunity there to push down and take out a couple of T2 mexes belonging to Koff, and making quick work of that right now. Let's check in elsewhere, and we've got a pretty sizable gathering going on the left hand side, and Google actually having to withdraw his ACU as there's a joint push going forward from Scarlet and Freedom now, a joint ACU push. Google has tried to maneuver his units round to the left center and again pierce this gap up the middle here, but Scarlet adaptly repositioning his units to take out that push. And now we've got gunships from Freedom on the ACU with Google, and I'm just going to zoom out here and take a quick look, and Foden needs to get his little air skates on and come and assist Google, because Google has got no anti-air of his own. He's frantically trying to throw up some T1 AA right now, and Foden still not moving that squadron of interceptors, and Google now in deep trouble. And unfortunately for Google, he is about to meet his end as we pause for the inevitable firework display. And we see the two ACUs now following up from Freedom and Scarlet and Google, very unceremoniously dispatched from this replay at just under 13.5 minutes, and Google's units are still alive and streaming in there, and it's a good job that they got Google because Scarlet was in all sorts of trouble with that T1 spam, and Freedom immediately going into the frantic build of some T1 lamp factories. He's pretty much building on the tombstone where Google now rests. Such is the life of FAF players. And back over on the right hand side, it looks like that Foden was able to shoo away Death Squad. Death Squad has sustained a little bit of damage here, and Foden starting to push up with a chunky entourage of pillars and a shield upgraded ACU. And Death Squad still largely at T1 spam. He did have a couple of Wagners out earlier, but I'm not seeing any T2 in his mix now, just the solitary Wagner. And actually Foden having to fight two people right now as he's got another chunk of his units going toe to toe with HotFog, and HotFog is pushing forward here. He knows that Foden's ACU is not there, so he is free to engage these pillars on his own with his own gun upgrade. And meanwhile Foden pushing Death Squad into the body of water, and HotFog is assisting Death Squad, and we got T3 now. Offham's rolling down from HotFog to assist Death Squad. Foden here is virtually fighting 2 versus 1. KoffNoob needs to get some units going before it's too late, and Foden now is half on his shield, and it's Foden now who's being driven into the body of water, and Death Squad there was just trying to block that with his units, but Foden just managing to squeak through the net and retreat safely into the water. Although we do see those Wagners now offering some torpedo fire on the comm of Foden. It's not a whole lot of damage in them, but and KoffNoob is pushing forward with his ACU, but he's still got no units. He's got a tail bringing up the rear from the back of his base here, and I think there's an attack ping going out on the comm of Koff, and Death Squad is like a whipping up a drain pipe with those units. He is completely enveloping the ACU of KoffNoob, and KoffNoob with a severe overestimation of what was a safe thing to do. And we've got T2 bombers coming in from HotFog, and HotFog and Death Squad here together have scalped KoffNoob, and this is a calamitous opening for Team 2 in the early stages. But Team 2 now applying severe pressure on HotFog, with Foden chasing HotFog, and HotFog needs to concentrate on running away really, as opposed to pausing to get an OC off. And HotFog deep into the red now, 1500 HP, but Foden is fast running out of pillars, and we've got loyalists coming around the back now from Death Squad to engage the pillars, and it looks like the HotFog is going to squeak away with less than 400 hit points. But there's a broadsword. The broadsword's coming in, and a solitary broadsword is going to be enough. And literally, the shot before it perishes, the broadsword takes out HotFog, and Team 2 pulling back ever so slightly there. But just look at the map control that Team 1 had. Obviously the top right hand corner has just been completely vacated by the demise of HotFog, but Freedom here completely camped out in the Team 2 half of the map with a large entourage of T1 units, but actually if we analyze the situation a little bit more, Cabal is starting to get some loyalists into his mix, so I actually think Cabal is going to come out on top of this eventually. There's no T2 or T3 coming forward from Freedom, it's all T1 spam, and Cabal has quite a sizable set of T1 factories to produce his own T1 spam, but he's sprinkling loyalists into that mix, and eventually Cabal is going to grind this out, I think. And we just see there the loyalists starting to dance around the edge of the T1 formations, taking out their targets at will. There's an attack ping going out on the loyalist grouping now, and Scarlett is pushing down with his own units to try and support this, but it's just more meat for the grinders of loyalists that Cabal has got going. And we've got engineer drops that have come in at the bottom, and Scarlett and Freedom just trying to suck up all the mass there. I think they realise that they're not going to be holding on to this bottom left hand corner for too long, as well Freedom looks like he's actually digging himself in. I'd be pulling back personally, but Freedom is a fuck ton better than I am. And Cabal almost grinding the entire stack of T1 spam of Freedom to nothing. And there's a attack ping that's gone out on Freedom's ACU, and Cabal again re-engaging the T1 formation with the loyalist leading the charge. And there's just absolutely nothing that T1, look at the mass field now in this area. And look at what the loyalists have done. They've absolutely carved this left hand side up. And is Cabal going to push in here and try and scalp Freedom? Freedom now looking very isolated from the rest of his team. He's completely cut off by Cabal. Is Cabal going to move in for the kill, or will Cabal move through the back and take out the bases of Freedom up here, and maybe Scarlett as well? I'd probably be more interested in doing that. Freedom does look pretty dug in now. And we've got fire beetles looking like they're preparing to load up into transports here from Death Squad, but we need to keep an eye on the bottom left hand corner now, as it looks like Cabal has decided to try and take out Freedom once and for all. And I don't know if it's the pathfinding or just not very good micro from Cabal, but the unit stash of Cabal struggling to get around this geological structure in the wall here and offer up any kind of firing solution. And the first shield goes down. Freedom is bearing forward with his ACU, and he's trying to overcharge groups of loyalists here. He's not managed to get one yet, and there goes an overcharge, and that takes out two of the loyalists, and Cabal pulling them back just a little bit, but Freedom looking in all sorts of trouble now as just more spam pours in from Cabal. And there's an assist ping going out. I'm not sure if that's from Freedom asking for help, but he's completely cut off, as we've alluded to. And we've also got broadswords moving across from Foden, and Freedom, well, he's clinging on. I mean, his ACU isn't in danger yet. Cabal trying to take out the anti-air to give the broadswords a chance, but Freedom certainly isn't going to give those broadswords a chance, moving in his ASF to deal with all of that. And Freedom looking like he's clung on to this. And we just see a notification there of Death Squad completing a Monkey Lord. And the Fire Beetles are dropping here on the right hand side, right next to the ACU of Foden, and they're going for Foden's con, but Foden's seen him, is running backwards, and that was an epic fail. Epic fail from Death Squad. The units of Foden just completely evaporated the Fire Beetle drop, and I'm pretty sure Foden is just giggling to himself right now. And we do see Death Squad streaming in here, a brick, but Percival's for Foden and pillars aren't going to be a problem. So Foden looking like he's faring pretty sturdily on the right hand side until that Monkey Lord gets forward at the very least anyway. And actually, just zooming back in there on Death Squad's base, he's now about a quarter of the way through a Soul Ripper, and we just see a notification there. I keep zooming in and out. A notification there of Freedom going into a nuke launcher. But back on the left, and Scarlet has started to try and reinforce the left hand side with Freedom. Freedom has managed to get his ACU out safely. So where's this monkey going from Death Squad? Well, it's just parked at the front right now, and I'm pretty sure I've seen... No, never mind. And the Monkey Lord crossing. I did see one. I did see Cabal with a Monkey Lord. Cabal with his own Monkey Lord here is moving it across. I'm not sure whether they've seen this or not, but we're just going to go into... So there was a glimpse there, and Cabal saying I know in team chat, so I think Cabal knows that that Monkey Lord is there. I don't, however, think that Death Squad has any fucking idea that there's a Monkey Lord of Cabal, and we just see some scouts pass over there from Scarlet, so I'm pretty sure that Death Squad thinks he's got free reign to push in here, but he doesn't, and this is looking like a painful mistake from Death Squad in the brewing. We've already seen one epic fail from Death Squad, and the Monkey Lord of Cabal opens up on the Monkey Lord of Death Squad, and there's a good 5 seconds before Death Squad's Monkey Lord returns fire on the Monkey Lord of Cabal, and that'll do it. Nothing but a pure mass donation. Nothing but a pure mass donation by Death Squad, and that is aptly followed up by a comment from Cabal, and dumbass of 2018 goes to death. Although he does say thanks for the crab afterwards. It wasn't a crab, Cabal. I don't think your Monkey Lord would have survived a crab. Oh, it's funny. So we're just into a little bit of a lull now, and I'm scared to look away and take an eco check, but we're going to risk it right now. And looking at mass income, top of the charts is Foden on a mass income of 242 per tick. In second place it's Cabal of the mass income. Oh, sorry, in second place it's actually Freedom on 167, and in third place it's Cabal on 158. Power generation is Death Squad on 4.3. And we just see now the Monkey Lord of Cabal is being pushed forward, and he's going to run into some loyalists and bricks of Scarlet, but Cabal following up with a sizable contingent of loyalists and T1 spam, and the Monkey Lord going to work on the bricks, and the bricks are just dying. And 2 more experimentals go up for players around the map. Scarlet getting a Monkey Lord online. And there's the Soul Ripper, and the Soul Ripper, which has been built by a Death Squad, has just been immediately handed off to Freedom. So this is 3 versus 2 right now, but as we just alluded to that in the eco stakes, I mean, you would expect Team 2's eco to be the superior, given that they've got more bases to build up from, but they had to fill those bases out and protect the flanks, and they've managed to repel Team 1 from this left hand corner all the way back up to their own area of the map, although we do see a rather brave brick from Scarlet now, just roving forward and taking out reclaiming engineers, just trying to stop Team 2 getting at this reclaim as long as possible. And the Monkey Lord for Cabal is pretty, well, it's just below half health. There's and actually the Soul Ripper there ground firing the Monkey Lord, and that was quite effective on the Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord losing another 6,000 or 7,000 hit points there, but we got a fully brand new and shiny Monkey Lord coming down from ScarlettPrincess, and there's a lot of tasty T1 units there being left for Cabal, and I'm not sure if Cabal realizes it needs to control K these units just yet. And the Soul Ripper and the Monkey Lord having an absolute banquet on the T1 land units of Cabal. 42 kills for the Monkey Lord of Scarlet already. And we do see actually the air parties, Freedom protecting the Soul Ripper, and Freedom got in just behind Foden's air there, and Freedom's first turn is much better. Freedom winning this air battle with pure micro. The ASF numbers looked relatively competitive. I'm not going to say they were even. I think Freedom had a few more, but Freedom's micro there was excellent and completely annihilating Foden's air. And Freedom now locking up air superiority for his team, and that Soul Ripper, it's the first game I've seen in a long time where a Soul Ripper's actually done something useful. It's freed up Scarlet's Monkey Lord to have a full-on push here, and we've got quite a lot of loyalists actually streaming up from Cabal, and those loyalists are just going to sit on the peripheral edge of Cabal's base here. They're going to suck that Monkey Lord in. We've got Foden pulling back Percivals and Pillars. I don't see this Monkey Lord doing too much damage, and now the loyalists are off the mark, sprinting towards the Monkey Lord of Scarlet. Scarlet's trying to micro the Monkey Lord, but there's only so much he's going to be able to do. He's also backing up into Percival Fire, and just look at the melting of that Monkey Lord, and Team 2 dealing with that very well, although they've still got a Soul Ripper to deal with, and now actually Freedom also adding a couple of broadswords to his air to ground engagement, and we've got SAMs going up from Cabal, and that is actually going to be enough SAMs there to shoo away the Soul Ripper, but not before, and this is quite crucial, Freedom there taking out the HQ of Cabal. So Cabal now unable to produce T3 land units for the time being. Very intelligent play there by Freedom. And how's that nuke coming? That nuke's been building forever and a day by a single engineer. It's just about finished, but it's going to be a while before it launches anything. And at the back of Team 2's base, we've got an SMD that's freshly built, so I don't see that nuke launcher coming into play for Team 1. They've already anticipated it. So Team 2 doing a really solid job here, and I can't pick a winner from this, despite the fact that it's 3 versus 2. I know we take the piss out of Death Squad being overrated, but he actually has played not very well thus far in this game. And the Soul Ripper now continuing to harass the front lines of Team 2. On 153 kills now, the Soul Ripper, 2 levels of veterancy. And Death Squad pushing forward with some loyalists now, although look at that group of Percivals for Foden. He just needs to get some anti-air in that mix and protect them from the air superiority that Team 1 have. And the Soul Ripper just got into the red there, but then vetted and it's back into the red, but it's being pulled back. It's still got about 27,000 hit points left on it, there or thereabouts. And Foden is trying frantically just to throw some ASF together, which he can just chuck at the Soul Ripper until it's dead. But there's another Soul Ripper nearly online. Death Squad about 75% done on that one. Scarlet not electing to send his second Monkey Lord forward. It's being kept back for defensive purposes. And actually Team 1 just about starting to take control of the left hand side again. Bottom left hand corner, there's engineers swelling around. I'm pretty sure they were all reclaiming, but I'm pretty sure there's absolutely nothing left in this area now. It's been hoovered cleaner. We do just see there a couple of Monkey Lord wrecks, which Cabal hasn't got to start sucking up yet. I'm guessing Cabal's eco, he doesn't know what to do with what he's got. While he's chucking a lot of it into Monkey Lords, Cabal doesn't have a terrible amount of build power, but he is using the mass that he's got. He's just, and there we go, he is on the reclaiming missions now. So we've gone just into a bit of a lull as teams working out their next move. And what upgrades Foden on there, I didn't see it. And they're talking about a tele snipe in team chat here. Team 1, Death Squad telling his teammates to build T1 PD. And actually Death Squad there going into laser upgrade himself. And Cabal starting the construction of a nuke launcher and a crab at the same time. Apologies, the nuke launcher is actually already up. Really interesting match this is. 3 versus 2, but you cannot tell. And that Soul Ripper that has been harassing the front lines has just been landed back into safe territory. I don't know whether it's going to be reclaimed or it's going to be allowed just to heal itself up a little bit. Well, the second Soul Ripper is online and it's been handed straight over to Freedom once again. So Freedom now with 2 Soul Rippers at his disposal as he continues to have complete and absolute impunity over air. And actually, let's just take an ASF. So 86 ASF online for Freedom, by extension Team 1, and about a dozen for Team 2. So Team 1 really need to exploit air control here, and actually Freedom almost has too many interceptors. If he's scouted and he knows that there's not a lot of air on the opposing team, why not switch up to strat bombers? But Freedom continuing with the ASF production, and that nuke coincidentally that Freedom's thrown up is about half done. But as we've already pointed out, that Team 2 do have an anti, and it is now loaded. I'm just wondering if there's a spare anti. And the air of Freedom and Foden again just clashing, and once again Freedom now just nibbling in behind the ASF of Foden, just taking out a few, but if he just keeps chipping away like that, Team 2 are never going to get air control back. And actually Scarlet is also into ASF production as well, so someone on Team 1 needs to start building air to ground fire, because land looking like a stalemate right now, to be honest. Foden is bringing his entourage of Percivals from right flank to right centre, as Team 2 surely see the push that's starting to brew on the left hand side from Team 1, with Freedom pushing forward his own Percival entourage, and Scarlett's got some bricks and loyalists forward as well. And actually, something that we haven't mentioned yet, Foden is about just over a quarter through a Duke construction, and that Duke is actually going up pretty quickly here for Team 2, and I think that could be the game changer that this game needs. It's a bit of a stalemate at the moment, and there's so much build power on this nuke launcher of Freedom, and I'm wondering if they even realise that Team 2 have had an SMD for so long. So let's just pop into Team 1 right now, and they see two SMDs on Team 2. Cabal's got one. They're both loaded, so I really don't know why Team 1 are putting so much build power onto this nuke launcher. It's not like that they can expect those SMDs to be empty at 37 minutes, and that Duke now 3/4 done. The shield's starting to go up around it as well, and if Team 2 can just dig out and hold off the pushes coming forward from Freedom on the left side now, which really shouldn't be a problem because Cabal's got an entourage of loyalists, a crab, a monkey lord. There's just not enough Percivals there to get into Cabal's base and do enough damage. So these Percivals really looking like a desperate attempt. And the Percivals of Freedom are just melting. And the crab struts forward. God, that's sexy. And all Freedom has done really is donate yet more reclaim over right on the doorstep of Cabal. And they can't even really use these Soul Rippers to great effect because Cabal's built up quite a lot of SAMs in his base, and it's just not going to have the time to get through and do something. So once again, Soul Rippers are fucking useless. How's our overrated friend doing on his upgrades?
Strategic launch detected.
So Death Squad has completed his laser upgrade, and what we're watching him do now is actually a teleport upgrade. And there's the nuke out from Freedom. We know it's not going to do anything, and the Duke is online from Foden, and well, actually the Duke has already taken out the nuke launcher and the surrounding T3 power generators. So that nuke launcher getting one nuke off, and it's gonna, oh, it's already dead. It's done nothing. And Team 1 looking like they're running out of ideas now, and Team 2 surely in the ascendancy as they start launching their own nukes. So they've got Artie, they've got nukes, and Team 1 just look completely out of ideas, and Freedom is starting to lose his entire base now to the Duke of Foden, and it looks like the current target is Freedom's T3 Air HQ, and there it goes. Oh, and there's a nuke that's gone in on the left hand side. I can't believe I missed that, but I think the nuke was blocked by Freedom's ASF. And Cabal saying that, unreal. Wow! And Freedom hadn't even moved either, so Freedom's ASF, I mean, he's lost all of his ASF, by the way, is completely devoid of air now, but they saved his life. And I'm sorry I missed that, guys. Cabal there with a cheeky little nuke over to this forward position of where Freedom was keeping his ACU, and it was a really good move, and Freedom obviously didn't see it, and he was just lucky enough that his ASF blocked the nuke. Maybe it wasn't luck, I don't know. But Freedom transferring a lot of his stuff off here, and I've got a feeling that Freedom has either decided that he can't be bothered now or he needs to go. And Freedom handing all of his stuff over to Death Squad, so we are now essentially 2 versus 2. Scarlet and Death Squad against Cabal and Foden. I don't think that's really going to make much difference because Team 2 now look far stronger to me, to my eyes at least anyway. That Duke has completely, well, it hasn't flipped the game, but it's broken the stalemate that was there, and there we see Freedom control K'ing his ACU, and I'm pretty sure his structures are going to go up with him now. That's a shame, but I don't think it's going to make much impact on the overall result, to be honest. Team 2 have done a stellar job on pulling this one back, and Foden now actually getting some T1 point defense around this nuke. And Foden going into the construction of an Atlantis. Well, really? That seems a bit pointless to me. And the Soul Ripper's now just being shoved in by Death Squad as a last ditch attempt to take out Cabal, but those SAMs making very quick work. And that Duke has completely cleared out the back of Team 1's bases, but also look, the Duke's clearly been targeting Death Squad, and Death Squad has taken a Duke volley to the face, and with 1500 HP, Death Squad is now queuing up a tele order to the ACU of Foden, and Foden's already building the T1 PD. There's a ping out, they've seen it, and Death Squad arriving underwater here. I'm not sure that was the brightest tele by Death Squad. You can't tele underwater, Death. You know that, right? Death Squad now emerging from the water, but the 4 T1 point defense online from Foden are going to be enough to take out the wafer thin HP that Death Squad teleported over with. So pretty much a suicide into Foden's clutches, and Foden gleefully accepting there, and I'm sure that the pair of them will be having a little giggle about that between themselves. And Team 2 almost with the second Duke online, just to rub insult into injury, and poor Scarlet now, he's got a lot to deal with. He's putting all his hopes on this nuke, but it's not going to do anything. And Scarlet does have a considerable a considerable entourage of T3 land units down here, parked in the bottom left-hand-ish corner of the map, but just it's not enough. Cabal's got way too much for that to get through, and indeed Cabal even feeling confident enough to just push forward with this crab and leave the defense of the bases of Foden and Cabal down to the squadron of loyalists and bricks that are amassed on the edge. And Scarlet with his own crab up now is facing down a caravan of Percivals being sent forward by Foden, and Foden, having seen the fire coming in from the crab, is rediverting the Percivals towards the crab, and Scarlet not yet microing it away, and I don't think that Scarlet, there we go, the Scarlet going into the sexy crab jiggle, as I like to call it. but surely the match is over now. We just see that the Percival's opening up, and the first round wiping clean a good 25% of the Crab's HP. And all the sexy micro in the world is not going to do anything against that many Percivals. And Scarlett desperately trying to throw some bricks in the way of the Percivals, but the Percivals not going to have any problem whatsoever. So Scarlett clearly still feels that he's got an angle here, because he doesn't look like he's given up, and indeed he is trying to push along the bottom of the map here with the Loyalists and Monkey Lord that he's got. But there's another Crab online in the centre of Cabal's base, and it's just not going to be enough. And the wave of incoming Loyalists, and again the pathfinding, or just the grouping of the units here, completely lending to an easy defense against the push from Scarlett. And Scarlett's nuke going out, it's aiming at the ACU of Cabal, but as we've already touched on a few times, both of these antis on Team 2 loaded up with several SMD bullets. And there goes the Monkey Lord of Scarlett, and the bricks are going to walk single file into the Loyalists and crab fire. And there's a nuke going out from Cabal, and he's actually targeting the incoming stream of T3 units, and it's very well placed. Maximum casualties achieved there by Cabal, and the Percivals have now made it all the way up to Scarlett's base, and Scarlett is just banging around with his ACU. I think he's taken a partial juke volley to the face, and he's accepting his fate like a man. The first Percival going down to an OC, but surely Scarlett's going to last. Well, there he goes. I was going to say less than 5 seconds, but not even lasting till the end of the sentence. And an excellent, excellent comeback by Team 2. Very well played by Foden and Cabal. And I think possibly Death Squad just let his team down a little bit throughout that match. And I know Death Squad is big enough to take on board that criticism. So Foden achieving 3 kills, Death Squad getting the early kill on KoffNoob. Actually, that was a very well executed kill. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on Death, I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stuff and categories. 2 of the 4 categories going to Foden with mass income and power income. And Foden wasting 6,000 mass. How dare he? How dare he? Other categories going to Cabal. Cabal winning most stuff killed and most stuff built going to Freedom. In terms of man of the match, it's a pretty straightforward one for me. Foden was the linchpin in that Team 2 victory. Cabal played very well as well, but just look at the statistics and look at the kills that Foden achieved. Foden clearly man of the match there. So well played Foden, well played Cabal, well played Team 2. Great match. Thanks very much, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that one. Please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. I don't know if you're all aware of the changes that YouTube have made over the last couple of weeks, but it's just made life a lot harder for people like me who are trying to develop a channel. Right, guys, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.